He's Jeff Passan of the Mothership covering the World Series for ESPN. I wondered about this to start the show. Are the Yankees an underdog? Do you consider them an underdog against the Dodgers?
I don't consider anyone an underdog this series. I know it's a binary thing where like you're supposed to have a favorite and an underdog, but I look at this series and it is so ridiculously evenly matched in my mind. I know the people who set the lines think they're an underdog right now, and even in game one when they're going to have Garrett Cole out there, but to me, this is about as coin flip a series, Dan, as you're going to get, and to have that between the two blue bloods who are playing in it, it's just a really rare treat. I think that baseball fans are going to be given this time of year. And as much as I get that there's like anger over coast versus coast over $300 million team versus $300 million team, I look at this and I'm like, damn, this is going to be some good baseball. And I'm really, as a fan of the game, looking forward to watching that part of it.
If I would have said to the commissioner back in March, hey, your star player, biggest name in the sport, is going to be embroiled in a potential illegal gambling operation. He's also coming back from surgery. But, Commissioner, the Dodgers are going to be in the World Series with the Yankees. What do you think the commissioner would have said at that moment when he realizes that Ohtani's season might be in jeopardy physically and with the gambling part of this?
I've never seen Rob Manfred dance. I'm I'm not sure how good of a dancer he is, frankly. But if you ever say Yankees, Dodgers to anyone in the commissioner's office, they're going to start doing a little, a little jig, a little shimmy, a little something like that, because this is their dream.
But it
It,
appeals to a younger audience as well. I mean, this is nostalgia for us. I'm curious about the younger fan. You have Ohtani and you have
yeah,
Judge. Is that enough that, kind of captures the imagination of any baseball fan?
Dan, I'm curious about the younger fan too, actually. And to me, what this series serves as is a litmus test for just how big Major League Baseball's national audience actually can get in 2024, right? Like, I don't know that in terms of television ratings, in terms of interest from large media markets, in terms of the things that tend to lead to eyeballs on a series like this, you can't do better. And so I feel like we're going to see the ceiling for Major League Baseball here nationally, and it's going to be really good to have that baseline to understand, okay, just how much has the national interest in the sport waned in recent years, and how much room is there to grow beyond that as you try to bring it back from being more of a local, more of a parochial game than it's ever been before, and take it back to that national leviathan that it was once upon a time.
Could you imagine that Juan Soto would make as much, if not more, than Shohei Ohtani?
Well, caveat here. If we are adjusting for present day value, because 68 of $70 million every year for the next 10 years of Shohei Ohtani's salary is going to be deferred, taking the actual value down somewhere between 350 to 475 million, depending on how you do the math. If we're talking about just dollars today, then yes, Juan Soto is going to crush Shohei Ohtani. That I firmly believe.
But total
And
contract, total worth of a contract. Is he going
I
to make
don't
$700 million?
I don't think Soto's going to
Okay.
get to 700. No, but he does, Dan. He does have one real advantage on his side in that situation. He's still only 25. He's not turning 26 until Friday, the day of game one. And the fact that if you are an organization and you want to get Juan Soto, you can stretch this contract very reasonably for 15 years, and you're still going up to only his 40th birthday at that point. We've seen other contracts go beyond a player's 40th birthday. So Is it a possibility that some team goes to him and says, we want to give you 15 years, and he says, okay, I want, $46 million a year, and that thing gets up into the 700 rate? Yeah, like that's realistic. That's not out of the realm of possibility by any means, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I think what we are going to see is like a single season, adjusted for all of those things, present day value. I think we'll see a single season high, and I think it's going to be easily at this point in excess of $500 million. If it hit a six, it wouldn't surprise me at all, but seven just feels like it's getting up a little too high.
He's Jeff Passan. He'll be covering the World Series for the mothership. Aside from the marquee players, give me the one key player for the Dodgers and the one key player for the Yankees.
I'll start with the Yankees. I think Luke Weaver is the guy there. We saw what can happen toward the end of the season, right? When the Yankees have a real closer in place. And I say like real closer. I mean, Luke Weaver coming into the season was supposed to be a depth arm for this team. And what he's turned into with his fastball and his changeup and his cutter, he is nasty out there. And aside from the slip up with John Kenzie Noel in the ALCS and giving up that absolute nuke of a home run, Luke Weaver has been totally awesome. And I think for the Dodgers, it's going to be Yoshinobu Yamamoto. The Dodgers are such a complete team offensively. We saw that, right? Whether it's Tommy Edman, the NLCS MVP, Max Muncy, who was getting on base seemingly every game. And oh, by the way, Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts. And you can go up and down that lineup, and they are spectacular. The starting rotation is the opposite of that. We don't know what we're going to get. And I think what the Dodgers, Dan, at this point need is depth in terms of innings. They need their starting pitchers to go and give their bullpen a little bit of a break, because there's a strong likelihood we're going to see at least one bullpen game from the Dodgers in the World Series. Possibility that we could wind up with two. And because of that, the bullpen has to be as rested as possible. And you saw it with Jack Flaherty in his last start, just did not get the depth that he was hoping to. You saw it with Walker Buehler. He started only 4 innings, 4 really good innings, but only 4 innings. Yamamoto, though, is the $325 million man, and the one whose games are going to be broadcast back in Japan and have 20 million people watching them. I mean, the international audience, Dan, for this series is going to be staggering. And I think it's a cool part of where baseball is these days, that there's a chance that you're going to see more people in another country watching World Series games than you do people in the United States.
Yeah, I saw that where the Padres Dodgers, that it was there were more viewers in Japan for that series than there were here in the United States, certainly in California. Do you make picks? Are you allowed to make picks on the mothership?
I haven't made my pick at this point yet, so I don't want to spoil it entirely. But that's also, Dan.
Wait, we got a drum roll. Wait, are you saving this for like pardon the interruption or something?
I gotta save it for my editor. She'll kill me if I don't. And beyond that, I still don't know where I'm going at this point. It's just I see the Yankees, and how do I pick against Juan Soto the way he's playing right now? And how do I pick against the Yankees when I anticipate Aaron Judge is not going to be an average player like he's been this postseason? And how do I pick against the Yankees when they've got Garrett Cole and Carlos Rodon and Clark Schmidt in the starting pitching advantage? And then I turn around, I'm like, how do I pick against the Dodgers when they've scored more runs in an NLCS than any team has in history? And how do I pick against the Dodgers when they went out and won a must-win bullpen game against the Padres in Game 4 and went out and clinched a pennant with a bullpen game last night?
No chance Ohtani pitches?
I mean, I guess there's a chance for everything, but I'd say he's as likely to pitch for the Dodgers in the World Series as I am.
All right, we'll get that arm loose.
Listen, they need some right-handed heat, baby.
Now,
shoulder ain't what it used to be, but I've been working on a cutter lately.
Now
so.
We're warming up in the bullpen. Jeff Passan. Great to talk to you. We'll talk to you during the World Series. Thank you for your time.
Look forward to it, Dan. Thanks, buddy.
That's Jeff Passan of the Mothership. He'll be covering the World Series for ESPN.